Psychoanalytic or psychoanalysis theory. Definition: the psychoanalytic theory is the personality theory, which is based on the notion that an individual gets motivated more by unseen forces that are controlled by the conscious and the rational thought. Sigmund Freud is closely related to the psychoanalytic theory. According to him, the human behavior is formed through an interaction between three components of the mind, i.e. id, ego and superego. Psychoanalytic theory. ID is the primitive part of the mind that seeks immediate gratification of biological or instinctual needs. The biological needs are the basic physical needs, and while the instinctual needs are the natural or unlearned needs, such as hunger, thirst, sex, etc. ID is the unconscious part of the mind that act instantaneously without giving much thought to what is right and what is wrong. Superego. The superego is related to the social or the moral values that an individual inculcates as he matures. It acts as an ethical constraint on behavior and helps an individual to develop his conscience. As the individual grows in the society, he learns the cultural values and the norms of the society, which help him to differentiate between right and wrong. Ego. Ego is the logical and the conscious part of the mind which is associated with the reality principle. This means it balances the demands of ID and superego in the context of real-life situations. Ego is conscious and hence keep a check on ID through a proper reasoning of an external environment. Hence, these are the fundamental structures of the mind, and there is always a conflict between these three. The efforts to attain the balance between these defines the way we behave in the external environment. Psychoanalytic theory stages. According to Freud, sexual psychoanalytic theory stages are formed throughout childhood and young adulthood. He called these the psychosexual stages of development. Oral, birth to 1 year, libido is centered in the mouth, leads to thumb-sucking, smoking, nail-biting, and other oral behaviors when stressed, id period. Anal, 1 to 3 years, libido is centered on the anus. Defecation methods of potty training may cause obsessive tidiness, stubbornness, swearing, and one's attitude toward authority, ego period. Phallic, 3 to 6 years, libido is centered in the genitals, leads to erotic attraction, jealousy, fear of rejection, Oedipus complex period. Latency, 6 years to puberty. Dormant period leads to the channeling of sexual energy into studies, friends, and pastimes. Ego and superego period. Genital, puberty to adult. Libido is centered on shared sexual pleasure rather than selfish phallic stage, finding the right partner or sexual perversions. Superego period. Levels of consciousness. Psychoanalytic theory stages and components also depend upon how conscious or aware we are at a certain point in time. Freud divided human awareness into the principles of conscious, unconscious, and preconscious thought. Conscious thought is what you are experiencing as you read this article. You are aware of what you are reading, you understand the words, the topic of psychoanalytic theory is at the forefront of your mind. At the same time, you may be listening to music or can hear someone talking on the phone in the next room. As you read this article, you might also be planning what you will prepare for supper. Whether in the front or back of your mind, all of these are examples of conscious thoughts. Memories make up our preconscious thoughts and are easily or relatively easily retrieved. Think of the name of your grandfather or your first pet and you are using your preconscious. The same applies to the passwords you have not automatically saved to your mobile devices. Most thought-related data in our brains is preconscious thought. It is the unconscious that plays a major role in mental illness according to Freud's psychoanalytic theory. These are hidden memories that we have, at some point, tried to forget. The reasons why we try to hide these memories are usually negative: guilt, shame, pain, discomfort, and fear. To live a normal life, it is easier to let such thoughts go. However, they still have a huge impact on how we behave throughout life. Other unconscious thoughts are very basic and instinctive from the moment we are born. To survive, we must ensure that certain requirements are fulfilled.